Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Earlier this year, Yoshitaka Kitao, CEO of SBI Holdings, stated that the top 20 global banks will be using XRP in 2019. And in light of SBI's VC Trade Pro being launched the other day and officially announced, I wanted to cover this piece of news because I think a lot of people probably missed this, and kind of wanted to tie that together. Also, I got some news about a business that may be using XRP, and we've got some speculation there. And both of those news items are coming from Alex Cobb's website, the XRP Daily. Good reporting on that. I've also got a video clip that I want to share with you. I watched a portion of it, and Fed Chair Jerome Powell is talking about the federal government potentially launching their own settlement system, which definitely made my ears perk up, so I'll be reporting on that. And then I'll close out the video by sharing something a little bit more on the fun side. It's related to crypto. It's Mike Novogratz, and he's comparing fake meat, aka vegetarian meat, to the 2017 cryptocurrency bubble. So I'll tell you what he actually means by that shortly here. But before we get going, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and if you are a fan of Ripple and XRP, please go ahead and subscribe. All right, into the content here, and I saw this from Han Solo, which is what prompted me to share this piece of news with you today. And it was a tweet of Alex Cobb's website, the XRP Daily, and he wrote, and this I believe this is the actual title of it too, but Yoshitaka Kitao. Top 20 global banks will be using XRP in 2019, the XRP Daily. If you go here, the actual date for this is January 11th this year. And the piece states, yesterday, valued XRP community member Crypto Eddie posted a YouTube video yesterday where she read an excerpt of the Boss Magazine February with an exclusive interview with SBI CEO Yoshitaka Kitao. The article is available for download for 700 yen. Otherwise, it is physically available in Japan, where Crypto Eddie is located. But the problem is that the downloadable article is not compatible with Google Translate, so unless you are in Japan, you cannot get the source. However, when the Boss Magazine February is issued for the United States, we will be able to have the full interview transcripts. Yoshitaka Kitao stated that the top 20 global banks will be using XRP in 2019. Keep in mind that he owns 13% of Ripple and 30% of SBI Ripple Asia. So as a big investor, he most likely has knowledge of future plans. As of now, we are relying that what Crypto Eddie is saying is truthful, and I have no doubt it is, considering her great reputation in the XRP community. Also note that Yoshitaka Kitao has made similar statements in the past, so from my personal standpoint, I believe this information to be factual. And then here's a quote from Yoshitaka Kitao. There won't be a bank in Japan not using Ripple. Now, is that not bullish? I got to tell you, Yoshitaka Kitao, he's been bullish, not just conceptual and everything that Ripple's doing, but specifically XRP. He does not hold back when it comes to sharing his thoughts on the future growth potential of XRP, not just from a price perspective. He's shared content on that, but also just in general, the actual global adoption of XRP. And you can see it with the actions that SBI is taking globally, again with SBI's VC Trade Pro officially being launched and announced the other day. I had a video on that, so feel free to take a look. It was just yesterday, if you're curious about it. But in light of that, I wanted to share this with you because the ecosystem is absolutely developing. And to me, it's always a matter of time. And I got to say this, just to temper expectations just in case. Although I am Mr. XRP Bull, and I believe that XRP has a fantastic potential to legitimately be used globally on a large-scale way as a cross-border mechanism for, as a bridge for cross-border transactions. If it doesn't happen in 2019 the way that Yoshitaka Kitao said, as covered in this particular piece, don't sweat it. Seriously. These things take time. And I remember Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO, last year stating that he believed that dozens of banks would be using, and he did say banks, dozens of banks would be using XRP via XRapid for real-time settlement in 2019. I'm pulling that from memory, but I think that's pretty much exactly what he said. So even if that doesn't come true, if this takes a little bit longer than expected, what I'm looking for, me personally, is to see that there is continued adoption. And it wasn't too long ago that we received official word from a Ripple employee, and who the employee was escapes me at this moment, but I did make a video on it, that there was official word that XRapid, the commercial version of XRapid, is actually being utilized by over 20 Ripple customers. So that's 20 actual businesses tied into RippleNet using XRP. That is absolutely fantastic. And they're able to do it thanks to all these incredible pools of liquidity around the world, thanks to the exchanges that are participating within the ecosystem. So it's going to take time, but it's going to be built out. And you can imagine what this is going to do for the price, because I insist that utility is what will win the day. I absolutely insist on that. That's my very firm opinion. Because without utility, none of this makes any sense at all. Without utility, everything that's happening here is in fact tulip mania. But there's a reason that this is not tulip mania. You know, that bubble from, what was it, several hundred years ago? People were selling tulip bulbs, and which is completely absurd. And that went on for a few years, by the way, before it crashed. And of course, that never came back. But by the way, when people compare Bitcoin and cryptocurrency to tulip mania, where that bubble just went up and then it crashed and never came back, I want to ask, if you really believe it's the same thing, how is it that the bubble has inflated and popped and then did that on a scale like where it could crash 90% corrections? How has it done that over the last decade, like 4 or 5 times, whatever it is, if it's just some bubble that's ultimately going to go away? How come there's always a floor that's higher than the previous floor? Well, it's because there's something to this, and even though the world's still figuring out, there's utility to the concept of cryptocurrencies, and even though everybody hasn't necessarily picked out the winners yet, I'm happy to speculate on what I think the winner's going to be, and I think XRP is going to be on top. And it's the only cryptocurrency in the history of mankind to be used in the commercial production of anything. So take that for what it's worth. All right, and I had to share this picture. This made me laugh. This is a picture of SBI Holdings CEO Yoshitaka Kitao atop a rocket with XRP written on it, flying into space. And I saw this, I was like, okay, that's kind of funny. So I had to share it with you. And this was shared by the Bearable Bull, who wrote, "Kitao is about to take us to the promised land. Countdown to SBI, baby." this is from 2 days ago. So certainly in reference to what ultimately was announced as SBI VC Trade Pro. But going out into outer space, Mr. Kitao. You know, I'm a little concerned for him in this picture, though. I believe that he'd be safer if he were either inside of a spaceship or at least wearing some sort of astronaut suit. So I'm going to get hard to breathe up there. But hey, I like what you're doing, Yoshitaka Kitao. Hold on, man. All right, now here's another piece from Alex Cobb's website, the XRP Daily. And this one's titled, "Ant Financial Ripple Ties Arise Through Standard Chartered." And the piece reads, "Lately in the XRP community, information has been coming up about Standard Chartered building a new open banking platform called Access. What is really interesting is that Ant Financial, who is a massive parent company, has appointed Ripple partner Standard Chartered as their core partner bank for its new blockchain cross-border remittance solution. I would also like to add that Brad Garlinghouse has confirmed that Ripple has talked with Alipay in the past, which is an Ant Financial subsidiary. Also back in 2018, Dilip Rao hinted, that's a Ripple employee, Dilip Rao hinted at XRP possibly being leveraged by Alipay. At least that is the conclusion the community came up with. And so here's a quote here, and this is October of 2018. Somebody named Nucleus Rick wrote, "And does that microloan require real-time liquidity?" And Dilip Rao responded, "And you know the fastest way to deliver liquidity, yes?" With a question mark there, so kind of teasing it sounds. So that's where that came from anyway. And then the piece continues, "All right, so let's get into the meat and potatoes. Take a look at the images below provided by @XRP_owl. Standard Chartered is making it clear that Ripple will be provided as an external gateway through this open banking application." You can see if you're not driving, you can take a look at the screen here and see what he's pointing out on the right side. You can see that Ripple is there in a little circle. But if you are driving, motorists, keep your hands at 10 and 2 on the wheel. Be a responsible vehicle operator. This next slide displays the fact that zero human touch is required in the service chain and that human interaction is only required for sale, advice, or issue handling. It also seems to say that it should only take about 3 to 5 seconds, if that is what they mean by attention span. I certainly know an asset that has similar settlement times. Indeed you do, Alex Cobb, as do I. Mr. Moon Lambo. And you can see in the slide here, it states strangely attention span 3 to 5 seconds, but that has to be what that means. What other, as it pertains to this particular topic, what else could be referenced as 3 to 5 seconds? I'm pretty sure that's XRP. So anyway, it's just a fun slide. You can take that for what it's worth, but that's what it is. And then I closes out this piece by writing, and again, Ant Financial appointed Access by Standard Charter for its new blockchain cross-border remittance solution here. All right, next piece. And this is tweeted out by @Stewart_XRP. And tweeted out, Hannah Kelly, visual design lead, Ripple. Have you ever wondered where the inspiration for the logo designs of XCurrent, XVIA, and XRapid came from? Here you go. And by the way, maybe most or all of you know this. I'm not sure. Maybe some of you don't. I can't remember when I finally realized this, but all the company name Ripple and their technology offerings, XCurrent, XRapid, and XVIA, they all relate to water. With Ripple as in ripples within water, XCurrent, current in a stream, river, whatever, XRapid, yeah. If this is just now dawning on you, don't feel stupid. I can't remember exactly when it came to me, but I was like, oh yeah, water stuff, cool, all right, that's fine. So anyway, what's shared here, and I had not seen this before, is some drafts of what the logos for XCurrent, XRapid, and XVIA all looked like. So that's what's on the screen here. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit further because there are some other possibilities. Let me pop this up so it's a little bit larger on the screen here. So you can see there are a few different options, and then the final was quite different. It looks like the drafts, although presumably they would have colored them. They're all in white here, at least for draft mode. Presumably they would have ended up with color even if those drafts became the final option. But I would say that they made the right call with the final one. I think they're pretty sharp looking. It's modern. And so, good design choice. But yeah, if you were ever wondering that, and on the original picture that I had here, if you want to read the descriptions of these, it is below. If you want to pause the screen, feel free to do it. Or if you want to just kind of check out the link, I'll tag this below. All right, next piece here. Now, this was cool. I had to share this with you. Somebody who is the Twitter handle is @XRP_productions made a cartoon of David Schwartz, and he's explaining XRP and its utility and usage, and this at least in this clip, and I don't know if there are other ones. I didn't look into it further. There's a link to the full video, but it seemed to be covering mostly basic stuff here, so I don't know if there are others where it delves in more. I'm going to have to look into this, but I did watch this video, and it was 2 minutes and 20 seconds, which I have to link below. You got to check this out. And you got to admit, if you're looking on the screen, like that cartoon version of David, that does look like David, so well done there. But you can see on the screen here where I paused it, they're talking about utility. XRP payments exist with or without Ripple, and then they go on to talk about decentralization and some other stuff too. So it caught my eye, and I was like, wow, somebody put some serious effort in this. I like this, so I wanted to share that with you. And check this piece out. I got this from Mr. B XRP. This has to do with the federal government getting into the world of settling. Okay, which we know, of course, is what XRapid does, utilizing XRapid as the settlement mechanism, bridge currency for cross-border payments. So here's what Mr. B XRP tweeted out. In the last 2 weeks, I have heard Fed Chair Jerome Powell, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, Senators Chris Van Hollen, and presidential candidate / Senator Elizabeth Warren all speak publicly about faster payments. We are not dreaming, this is real. And then he linked to an article, and that's not what I'm going to cover in this particular video, but since I'm going to link this, you can check that out too if you'd like to. But look what he responded to his own tweet with below. And it's a video clip. The video clip's 45 minutes, but he said, jump to the 20-minute mark and give it 3 minutes, which I did. I did give it 3 minutes, and he was asked a question, and it took him 3 minutes to kind of answer it. The one piece that I took away that was very fascinating, that I don't know if anybody else is aware of this. If they've talked about this in the past, and apparently they have, I was just unaware of it. But the federal government has been floating the idea, at least internally, of creating their own means for settlement. Now, of course, given that Ripple is trying to solve the global settlement problem too, you might think, well, what does that mean? They're trying to eat Ripple's lunch? Well, not so much. I can tell you this, even without knowing anything additional, if you're not using a decentralized digital asset, like it literally has to be a decentralized digital asset, if you're not using that, you cannot solve the fractured global banking system. Humans have not devised a way to do it without a decentralized asset. because somebody, what's important to somebody, somebody's always going to have their own particular interest. So in this case, whatever you're going to use as a means for settlement, it's going to be a walled garden. There is no way around that. Again, humans have not devised a way to do it. So if and here's the good news though, Jerome Powell did say, hey, we'd be working in tandem with other private companies. So it's not like they're trying to just like take over the world, so to speak, as we hope Ripple does in terms of settlement. Not in a nefarious way. Don't take over the world in that way, Ripple. But in terms of settlement, and XRP becoming the standard means by which to just move money around the world from one fiat currency to another. Yeah, well, they're the only ones trying to do what it is they're doing. There is nobody else. There simply is nobody else doing what Ripple is doing, period. So either Ripple's going to keep doing this and they're going to find traction, or they're not. I think they will. But nobody else is even trying this, so I'm not really concerned. Now, of course, more walled gardens, I think walled gardens will be popping up, and those walled gardens still need to be connected somehow, so there's still going to be a need for this. And understand that also most of the banks in the world, they're smaller banks, and they're not going to be part of these walled gardens. And they're not going to be tapping into the liquidity of larger banks, which is what they're doing today to facilitate the settlement for these cross-border transactions. These smaller banks, literally, as I've said before on this channel many times, they are paying their larger competitors to be able to tap into their liquidity. But there's not going to be a need for that anymore. So these walled gardens can do what they want. I guess they're just trying to protect themselves and super duper. And if they get traction with any of that, I have no qualms with that. If they can provide a service and there are consumers that want that, fine. And if it's because they don't know Ripple's a better solution, okay, but maybe they'll find out eventually. But I have no problem with competition. That's how this has to be, because if the whole concept of what Ripple's doing can't stand on its own legs, then it shouldn't be here. But from my perspective, it can do more than stand on its own legs. It can walk and then run. So it's amazing. So this is not something that alarms me. It's more so fascinating to me that the government at this juncture in time is really, for whatever reason, talking about faster payments around the world. And it seems to me a lot of it has to do with the fact that cryptocurrencies are coming to the forefront. And I would be willing to speculate that a lot of this has to do with Ripple employees speaking with these people, because we know that there is evidence of that. And I've covered that on the channel as well. I won't get into it in this video, but there's all sorts of evidence of Ripple employees. And it's not speculative evidence, it is actual evidence of Ripple employees speaking to people that are placed within the federal government. All right, last thing I want to cover for this video here. This is from Cointelegraph, and this is titled, Beyond Meat Stock Performance Reminds Novogratz of Bitcoin in 2017. CEO of crypto merchant bank Galaxy Digital, Michael Novogratz, said that vegetarian meat startup Beyond Meat reminds him of cryptocurrencies in 2017, in an interview with CNBC published on August 1st. During the interview, Novogratz declared that Beyond Meats reminds him of the state of the crypto market in 2017, suggesting that the price is in bubble territory given its parabolic rise this summer. He further provided an analysis of the phenomena and some grim predictions concerning the stock. And here's a quote from him now. I think big ideas grab the attention of people, you see. You get great bubbles on big ideas. This is a great bubble. I mean, it's a ludicrous price, but everyone got sucked in. All the young guys on their Robinhood accounts are buying this, and this is their crypto, and then reality does set in. All right. And then the piece continues, Novogratz also cited the recent reports that the company CEO, Ethan Brown, decided to sell more stocks, which increased the float. He said that as the float increases, the lockup comes off, and everyone else tries to sell, and the price will react to it. And so I'm not going to read the rest of this here, but there's a little subheading here that says, Beyond Meat soars 250% in a few months. And yeah, that probably is a bubble. And it's okay to acknowledge when crypto enters bubble territory, which it's not right now. From my perspective, it is not. But when it does, and it will again, it's okay to acknowledge it. It doesn't mean that there's something flawed with the any individual asset in crypto or with the asset class itself. But you'll see bubbles in all sorts of well, really every asset class. And right now I think the stock market's in a bubble, and I think that housing is in a bubble, and I think they're going to pop at some point, and prices are going to plummet, and it could be very messy for a while. We shall see. But that's all I got for you in this particular video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!